Hey guys, it's Charles from Tech Always, and today I'm going to be taking a look at, in my opinion, one of the best looking cases on the market, the Anidees Ai Crystal Lite. I want to preface this by saying that the case, along with the blue halo fans inside, were sent over by Anidees for me to review, but this didn't affect my stance on the case, and everything I say is my own opinion. So let's get right into it. So like most of my case reviews, I'm going to start off by looking around the outside of the case. On the front you have dark tinted tempered glass, which has intake vents on the sides. On the right side you get another beautiful sheet of tempered glass, and coming around to the left side you get your third and final piece of smoky tempered glass. While the glass is beautiful, the tint is very dark and makes it hard to see components unless you have lots of LEDs inside. On top of the case you'll find your front I/O, which features a 3-speed fan controller, an illuminated power button, a reset switch, and 4 USB ports, 2 2.0 and 2 3.0. Moving behind the I/O you'll find your top magnetic dust filter, which while not super coarse will get the job done. Flipping the case over to the bottom, you'll find the 4 large rubberized case feet, which should give you plenty of clearance if you put your case on carpet. Your power supply will also be protected from dust with the dust filter on the bottom, which is attached to rails and is fairly easy to remove. While the case isn't that big at 18.7 by 8.5 by 19.6 inches, it's extremely heavy at a whopping 24 pounds before you even put a system in there. Now it's time to move to the inside of the case. You can start that off by easily pulling off the front panel, revealing a magnetic dust filter, and to take off the side panels you have to use the 4 thumb screws in the corners. While this mount is similar to other glass cases, the holes on the glass don't seem to be quite as precise as competitors, and they don't seem to align perfectly with the holes. While the panels still fit, it can take a little bit of wiggling to get them on. Also, the rubber gaskets on the mounts on the case are removable and can fall off, so you have to pay close attention to where those are when you're building so you don't lose them and destroy your glass. The final thing I should mention about the mount, while not necessarily a bad thing, is that the thumb screws are very short. While they're more discreet than the screws used on the S340 Elite and are still easy to take off, they make it hard to not get fingerprints on the glass when you remove and put the side panels on. Getting that smoky glass out of the way, we get a much better look inside the case. You get a nice minimalistic power supply shroud that only has 2 cable routing holes, 1 large one for your PCIe power cables and front panel connectors. In the far corner you have another hole, this time non-grommeted, which is specifically for your HD audio cable. I would have liked to see more holes closer to the motherboard so that your USB 2.0s and your front panel connectors aren't quite as exposed when plugging them in. On the side of the shroud you have a reflective Anidees logo, and on the other side there are holes to allow airflow to the hard drive bay below, and you can see the shroud doesn't go all the way to the front of the case, allowing you to mount a radiator there. Speaking of radiators, you can fit up to a 280 or 360mm radiator in the front and top, and a 120 or 140mm radiator in the back. Along with this, you can fit 3 120 or 140mm fans in the top and the front, along with a 120 or 140 in the back. This gives you a lot of options for airflow and liquid cooling for your really high-end components. Now, taking a look at the main part of this case, it is very open with no exposed drive bays or anything to block airflow or stop you from fitting high-end hardware in the case. This case supports all motherboard sizes from ITX to EATX, and you can use coolers up to 6.9 inches, meaning it can fit some of the largest coolers on the market. For graphics cards, you can fit a card up to 16 inches, but if the card is 11 inches or more, the PCB will supposedly slide into the slot on the cable management bar, supporting it and stopping GPU sag. I say supposedly though because I don't have any graphics cards big enough to test this with. Upon using the cable management bar, it's really nice. It provides a nice discreet way to route cables and is very similar to the S340s. It is also removable using just a single thumb screw in case you are using some of the extremely large EATX Mobos on the market, making it better than the S340s in this aspect. My only complaint with it is that it ends pretty low down, so the 24 pin has to be at a little bit of an angle, but that's not a super big deal. The other cable routing holes run along the fans in the front for the cables and along the top for your top mount fans and EPS power cable. While I don't care that the front holes are non-grommeted because the fans cover them, I would have liked to see some grommets on the holes on the top of the case. Because the back panel is glass as well, the light comes through, making the cables easily seen even when all the side panels are on. This could easily be solved with some grommets that would stop the light from coming through and highlighting the cables. Since we've gone over the actual cable routing, let's look at the actual cable management on the back side of the motherboard tray. On the left side there's a large channel that is recessed that provides plenty of space for cables along with 3 included Velcro straps, but the rest of the space isn't so great. While you do have space under the power supply shroud to stuff your cables, the majority of the back compartment only has half an inch of space to route your cables, which is not a lot, especially considering the panel is glass, so you have to make it look good and you can't push it down as hard as you normally could with a metal panel. Part of the reason you don't have a lot of space under the shroud is that there's a drive tray that can fit up to 2 3.5 inch drives. The caddies for this are sadly not toolless and require screws to hold the drives in, along with a thumb screw to keep the caddy in. The 3 SSD mounts on the back of the tray are in the same situation, needing screws to attach the actual drive along with a thumb screw to hold the trays in. The final thing I want to touch on behind the motherboard tray is the fan controller. This is controlled from the front I/O, and while it works well, I opted to use my NZXT Grid V2 over it as the built-in one only supports 5 fans. So overall this case is really nice, but at $120 it's not that cheap, and considering it's not super practical because you need LED to see your components, and with the system inside it weighs almost 40 pounds, you can't really move it around. But if you're the type of person who puts aesthetics number 1, then I would recommend this case for you. If you like this video, be sure to like it. If you didn't, leave a comment down below as to why, and I'll try and fix it in the next video. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe. And if you want a behind the scenes look at the channel, be sure to follow me on Twitter at TechAlways with 2 S's. Thanks for watching. Bye.